So tonight I am going to do a script. I'm going to try this. And I'm going to do some reading. So I'm not going to be looking at the camera for most of the time. But I'm going to be reading about attachment, act, and trauma therapies, the 3 pillars of healing. And welcome. And I want to talk about these 3 frameworks that, when woven together, create something powerful. Not a rigid protocol, but a living, breathing map for healing. Attachment theory, ACT, and trauma therapies, whether it's EMDR or exposure. Each one holds a piece of the puzzle. Together they hold a whole person. Let's start with attachment. Attachment theory teaches us that we are wired for connection. We are indeed. From the very beginning, our nervous system learns that what love feels like, not through words, but through presence, through attunement, through someone returning our gaze, catching our distress, and soothing us. But when something goes wrong, when that goes wrong, when the caregiver is scared, absent, or the source of the fear itself, the child adapts. They learn to suppress need, to perform, to freeze, to build a fortress of independence or a desperate grip of protest. And then they grow up. We grow up. And the fortress or the grip follows them into their adult relationships. Not because they are broken, because they are brilliant. They solved an impossible problem. The problem is the solution has now become the cage. And this is where ACT enters. ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, does not try to tear down the cage. It doesn't say stop feeling anxious, stop having flashbacks, stop being triggered. It says, what if the cage has a door? What if you've never noticed it because you've been so busy fighting the bars? ACT teaches us that suffering is not just our pain. It is our war with pain. The endless struggle to suppress, avoid, and outrun what lives inside of us. And the cost of that war is our life. We trade vitality for control. We trade connection for safety. So ACT asks a different question. What if you could make room for this pain? Not because you want it, but because it's already there. And still, take one small step towards what really matters. Values. It's not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling. And then choosing your direction anyway. It's about following your values, knowing your values, and knowing that your values are what will enable you to learn the steps and the tools you need to bring the anxiety, the adaptive, the maladaptive behaviors under control so that it's acceptable and you can live with them. There's no such thing as zero anxiety. We'd be dead. But being able to live with it, being able to live with enough. And here's the truth. You cannot choose direction if your nervous system believes you are under attack. And this is what trauma therapies polyvagal theory, sensory motor psychotherapy, EMDR, exposure therapy have given us. They have given us the body. We used to think trauma lived in the story. We now know it lives in the tissue, in the tightening shoulders that never learned to soften, in the collapsed chest that learned silence meant survival, in the part of the self that is still back there waiting for someone to come find them. Trauma therapies do not just talk about the wound, they visit it. They bring warmth to the frozen places. They teach the nervous system slowly, patiently, that the danger is over, that the body can be at home again, not a battlefield, safely home. This is not cognitive. You cannot think your way out of a trauma response. You have to feel your way through it with someone who is not afraid of your pain, someone who has and develops a therapeutic alliance with you, somebody who can withhold and withstand and be there to contain. And so here is what these three pillars teach us together. Attachment says you were not meant to heal alone. Healing happens in the pause between two nervous systems, when one says, I see you, and the other one feels, I am safe. ACT says, and while you heal, you are still allowed to live. You do not have to wait until the trauma is gone to love, to create, to contribute, to belong. You can carry it with you gently and move forward anyway. Trauma therapy says, and we will go slowly. We will honor the protection you built. We will not rush the gate. But we will show the younger parts of you that there is another way to be in the world. You are not your attachment wounds. You are not your anxious thoughts. You are not what happens to your body. You are the awareness that notices these things. You are the space that holds them. And you are the one who, even now, is capable of choosing a life that matters. That is the work. That is the weaving. Thank you. This is what I do. I hold space for people. I work with their trauma. I work with their pain. I work with their anxieties. And I do it with the tools that I've learned throughout the years with great masters. And it's not always fun, but it's always rewarding. Thanks.